So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, some of you might be actually confused, and if you definitely don't follow my Instagram, then you definitely haven't seen the progress of this tank at all. Like the last video I did on this was the filter setup, and ever since then it's just changed so much. And so if you haven't been following, so basically in short story, what happened was that scape we ended up running for about a month, and then I realized that it just wasn't very shrimp friendly. Not so much like shrimp couldn't be in the tank, but like for breeding shrimp and being able to net them out, it just there was too much going on to where if I was really trying to breed some shrimp and be serious about it and potentially make some profit off that, it just made no sense. That scape did. Not the end. It looked nice, but at the end of the day, for what I was trying to get out of it, it just wouldn't have worked. And so I rescaped it. And long story short, the second scape ended up lasting another month, maybe a month and a half. And that one did fine, but it ended up being kind of a similar situation where I kind of almost did the same thing, but just a different look. Obviously the first one the wood came out right here, and then the second one the wood actually came out the left side, almost like this tank right here. But and so I basically just made the same mistake again, which I was dumb for doing that. But and it was simpler, and it would have been easier, but at the end of the day, it just another kind of failure on my part. So this is going to be the third and should be final because I'm really feeling this one, and hopefully with the glimpse you already got, you can kind of see that too. So I'll kind of explain what this scape is going on. So sorry for literally ignoring this tank. Like you guys have not seen a video on this tank, and it's literally been the only tank running in this room. Because obviously we tore down. You guys saw the tore down the 90p, and obviously our 45F is still dry starting, which that one actually should be flooding fairly soon. So you guys will at least see that one. But yeah, this one it will also be dry started for just a little bit. I don't plan to like have it like fully carpeted or anything. I mean, I'll set it up as fast as like fill it up as fast as I can back again as I can, but I'm gonna actually take trimmings off the Cuba, so I'm just gonna sprinkle it around where I actually want the carpet and just let that kind of root in, and then I'll go ahead and flood. But other good thing is I was done and broke my diffuser, so I actually have to order that anyways, and I'm gonna wait for a new one to come in. So that honestly gives me another excuse to, go ahead and dry start it and just let it grow in a little bit. But basically, the idea of the escape is I basically wanted to use my Frodo that I had because I obviously have so much of it, and if you guys are actually interested, I don't know when this video is going to be up, so you'll just have to follow my Instagram. But if you guys are interested in some really large piece of Frodo, definitely hit me up because I'll still obviously have some left. But back to the point. So basically, this scape is basically going to be kind of, I guess, mountain type scape. But I wanted it to be different because obviously our 45F is more just, half and half. We got sand in the front, we got a carpet in the back, and we got a little bit Yugumi kind of going on there. And then obviously our Frodo and our 45C, it's more of a cliff effect. And then obviously a 90P is a straight, classic Iogumi. And so this one I had to be a little different with. I had to, do something different. And so my idea was for basically the escape to come out one of the corners and basically come down with like a rock work, almost like a mountain effect pretty much. Um, and it's kind of a similar idea to the 45C to where like the wood complements the rock work a little bit to where the stone is still like the main focal point, but then the wood kind of just complements the wood base or complements the rock, I mean. But the only thing I'm afraid of right now is if I'm already adding too much wood, but really it looks really good though, so that's why I'm leaving it. So hopefully it doesn't become a big problem in the future, but basically the plan is to have a bunch of mid-ground plants, like probably more likely S repins in between here, and maybe some here, so that it kind of like grows into the roots. So really, and then have some boosts and stuff in between all the wherever we can on the wood. So it shouldn't be a too big a problem. It definitely will be a more open scape, and that's basically what I'm going for. It's just to basically be more open. This way, I can literally come in here and you can literally at least see everything, and that's kind of what my main purpose is going for. So, but the cool effect about this one is my plan is to actually have a little pump back here. Hopefully I have room. I might have to shift this rock just a slight bit to fit it, but there'll be a pump, and then the two will more like come up here and basically stop like maybe right in here to where we're gonna actually have like a little trickle waterfall that goes down this rock and hits the surface of the tank. So I think that's gonna be a really neat feature. Hopefully I'll be able to do that, which I don't see why that shouldn't be a problem, but of course there's always something I might run into some problems, but I think that'll definitely work out though. And basically, over time, I think I'll have some immersed plants again coming out this side to where they'll hide that pump. And of course, we'll still need to be able to get that pump out. So that's another big thing. But we'll have mosses basically, not too much because also we still want the detail of the rock to be exposed. But you know, some mosses, especially when we have some water trickling, it'd be nice to have some mosses, you know, growing down this. Some creepy moss would probably be perfect. Some Ricardia, I think if we do a mix like Ricardia, like right here, and then do some weeping moss, you know, maybe on the edges over here. I think that would look really nice. And then again, you add some boost, like literally in between anything we can, definitely add some boost. I have a cup of it, and then plus I have some red mini from, you know, this previous scape already. And so I'm still working on it. So basically my plan is, you can kind of see that I'm basically going to be adding sand all on this front. I think that's going to work out fine. I was just thinking about just going ahead and carpeting the whole thing, which I mean would look good honestly, but I think with all the wood and stuff, I think just having sand at the very bottom just always looks really good, especially this Frodo, and then getting real detail with the rock work, which I'll actually do tomorrow. So you guys won't see the final, well, you'll see the final skip in this video, but for me it'll be a couple day process. But basically the next step for me is to basically add soil all the way back here, because I was trying to find a way to, because this rock kind of came in weird, so I'm trying to find a way to block that side off. So I think that rock is going to stay right there, and then I'll have to find another piece of wood maybe to go between here, or just, you know, plant something right there to cover that kind of ravine that kind of makes that, it's kind of a weird connection, but we'll make it work. But yeah, everything else will be sand pretty much, and then we'll just get real detailed with the stone again. I'll break up some pieces, and yeah, it'll be pretty cool. But yeah, I think having a carpet of Cuba on this side, because of course I might, I'll definitely take majority of the Cuba that I get over here, but I'll put some over here, but it's definitely going to get covered up by Esrepins eventually. So that's why I'm going to probably be a little more over here for sure. But if I do have extra, I'll just throw some over there and might as well let it keep growing. So yeah, not as much carpet as I honestly planned at first, but that's totally fine. I mean, I'm more important of having, you know, a really nice scape. But yeah, other than that, I'll keep you guys updated, and you guys will see the next clip. So basically what I've ended up coming up with is, obviously you guys saw this rock right here, but I basically have added the soil that's pretty much level with this entire rock feature right here, and I'll go ahead and carpet that back too. I think that'll look really nice when you have that part, and you have this little bit of green up in this back area on this little cliff here. I think that'll look really nice. And then basically I've added the sand now, so it's still not complete. This is actually all I'm going to do for the night, but like I said, you guys are going to see this fully finished by the time this video ends. But for me, it's going to be into the night for now. Tomorrow I'm actually going to crunch up some Frodo and actually chisel some smaller pieces. So basically what I've already done so far is put the sand down. This is 88 gravel, because it goes really nicely to Frodo, which I discovered. So I definitely was using that. I discovered that when I was doing the 45C, so definitely going to integrate it into this tank as well. And then you might see some other pieces, and that's actually the Dua sand, the tropical. So it's a bit, you can see it's more almost like a gravel. It's a little bit denser of a, or if that's even the right word for it, more a little denser of a sand, so it's not as fine, you know, as like La Plata here. So I mix that in there too. That's what I put down first, and I might actually go ahead and mix it throughout the actual middle here too, because it does look really nice mixed together, that I discovered. But yeah, other than that, that's all I'm gonna do for this clip. So next clip, you'll see me with the rest of the detail, and then we'll go ahead and plant it. So it's the next day, and I finally added all the detail. So I went through, and I'm not sure on the other clip if I showed you where I did the Dua sand and the aqua gravel by 88. I think I did, but the only thing we left off was, you know, the crunching up the Frodo, and that's what I went here through. So you can see now it looks like really natural, looks super sweet. I think that's all I'm really gonna do, unless I just, of course, if I see like I need to add something somewhere, I will. But at this point, it's probably not gonna be nothing major to show you guys. So pretty much just what it's gonna look like is what you see now. So what I'll have to do now is I'll probably go ahead and actually, the next clip you'll see me either planting or sprinkling the Cuba on the soil, and we can basically go ahead and wrap it up and get ready to dry start it. I will have to come back and actually glue the wood pieces down just so they don't go nowhere. But other than that, we're pretty much complete. I really like how this turned out. Of course, when this keeps growing, I might even actually add more soil, take this wood out and add more soil, because I feel like you still see too much of that bottom. I want it more buried, and so I might actually go back and do that. So you might see that in the next clip. I might update you guys that if I end up doing that. But yeah, other than that, I really like this, especially if we do the waterfall effect, which as of right now, I'm definitely gonna do. I'm just hoping that it turns out, it works as we want it to. But I think that'll be a super sweet addition. Be more kind of a river, flowing down, and it's just way more open at the end of the day too. Even though we have wood in this tank, which is what kind of like distracted the like, previous two scapes because there's just too much wood, too many hiding places. But this is more just on top of the wood, and of course, like there's hiding places, but there'll be so much plant mass that most of the shrimp are probably gonna more stay out in this area. So that's kind of the plan. So yeah, so it's just gonna be a way better tank overall for us. And hopefully this is the last time I do this tank, which it should, because literally at this point I'm getting rid of all my Frodo, and I probably won't have anything else to really escape with. If I ever wanted to even redo it, I probably wouldn't even have the escaping supplies to do it. And obviously the only reason I've been able to rescape this many times is because I just had the free escaping supplies. If I had to pay for all this, I definitely wouldn't be redoing it this many times. But yeah, this should definitely be the last time. I feel like this one's really gonna turn out really cool, and especially with all the after added all the detail, just I really like how this one's turning out. And I can already see, you guys might not see it at first, but once it starts growing in, hopefully you guys will see like how cool like this will really be. But yeah, other than that, I'll show you guys the next clip of when I plant the Cuba. So I got the trimmings from the Cuba. So basically what I did was trimmed up this tank a little bit. Obviously now it looks kind of bland, I guess you could say, because now it's all cut up. But a little update, sneak peek for you guys on the carpet. I actually need to really make a video on this because it's literally all grown in now. And of course I trimmed it, but you see how thick it still is. So there's a lot of like loose pieces that I know when I cut. So when I go to fill this up, there'll definitely be a lot of Cuba that floats back up to the top, just because there's a lot of miscellaneous trimming pieces like all over the glass now, just stuff all over the place. But I might have to trim more of it. I just don't want to go too crazy, but because eventually I will have to actually go through and fully trim it. But trimmed a little bit off, and then basically got a cup here of it. So basically the goal is like I really don't need to plant this at all. Basically all I'll do is sprinkle it on there evenly. Obviously wet the soil, sprinkle it, and literally once the roots just start spreading, it'll attach itself. So that's what's nice, especially with dry start method. If you're really bad at planting a carpet, which is not too bad, but sometimes it can be a pain. That's why we kind of invented the dry start method, because it just makes everything so a lot easier where you can go ahead and kind of root the carpet or even fully carpet it, if like I've been doing. And once you go to fill up your tank, you pretty much have a full carpet already, so it makes it really nice. So I'm going to wet the soil down and start sprinkling, and I'll come back to you guys. So here it is. So I got it all planted here. So if you guys wanted to see that, sorry, but basically literally it's simple. All I did was, obviously I had a little bit of water, and I just put the trimmings in this cup, and literally what I do is just take chunks, and if they're bigger I kind of spread them out a little bit, kind of crumble them, and then literally just sprinkle it. And that's all you have to do. And you can see like all the little pieces, you can see I literally just dropped them. Some pieces sometimes I'll go back and kind of press them a little bit, just so they're actually, in the soil a little bit, just so that, because it does fasten the process a little bit when they're actually buried a little, get those roots actually in the soil a little bit. But like over here, you can see I literally just set it on top. I just sit there and sprinkle it everywhere. Basically, I had perfectly amount. So, I mean, I could probably put more, but honestly, it'll probably grow pretty fast if it's already established as immersed already. These are immersed cuttings, so it should already start rooting pretty quick. Within a week, they should already have roots. And so we'll just see how fast obviously if you guys remember the beginning of the video, I broke my diffuser, so I'm having to wait on that one anyway for that to come in. So I mean, I'll let this dry start literally for a month. I don't care, just because I'll let it carpet, but it shouldn't take that long. So honestly, like 2 at the most 3 weeks, we should be filling this thing right back up. So it'll definitely go way faster than the other carpets. Obviously the other carpets at the same time, like the 45F, the only reason it's been this long because I just didn't want to spend the money right now on to finish that setup. So it's just literally been like a little terrarium pretty much at the moment. But that one will eventually be flooded, and we just need a CO2 and then another lily pipe for that one, and that will be finished. So like we're like $350 away from finishing that one, but I'm not too worried about that one right now. So we're just gonna be focused on this one. But yeah, I'll just obviously we'll do the same thing. I'll put some saran wrap. Obviously I'll miss this 2 to 3 at the most times a day. Usually I just do if I remember, I try to do it in the morning, and then right when I get home from work and then before I go to bed. So that's about 3 times. So that's usually about the perfect mark. And then your lighting, usually they say about, you definitely want more lighting on the dry start just because, there's no water, so it's not like you're gonna get algae. I mean, you might get a little bit of buildup on the rocks just because of the moisture content, but literally, like, the sweet spot for a dry start on lighting is about 12 hours, so definitely do 12 hours. Usually they say about 10 to 14. Just go straight in the middle, about 12, and 12 has literally worked for all my escapes so far on dry start, so I would definitely recommend that for sure. But yeah, that's basically it. So I mean, we're done for this video. So obviously the only other thing I'm gonna do is put saran wrap on the top of that, and we'll just let it wait. But yeah, under this O and F, like everything else, like the new Twin Star that's on the 45F, that's the version 3, so obviously that has more greens in it, so it does look pretty good, but it still doesn't look like the greatest. At the end of the day, it's still a Twin Star. I feel like their greens aren't the best. They really are good in the red, on the red hue of things, but other than that, like, their greens are okay. They're acceptable, but they're not like O and F or 88 or even UNS type lights or Chihiros, if that. So the O and F definitely brings out the greens a lot, and you can see that already in here. If we pan over, you can just see how green everything looks. So once it starts establishing, it really starts to grow in, you know, pumping some CO2 in here. I mean, it's gonna look amazing. So that's why that scape's really gonna pop, I think, especially when we start adding other plants as strep-ins, which I'll have to see. But I have some boosts. I'm not gonna put anything yet before I fill it up, but I got some all kind. I literally have all kinds of 88 tissue cultures, and actually, I had some Monte Carlo that probably would have worked for this entire thing. But I think Cuba is going to be the better option because it is smaller, and Monte Carlo just gets a little too big. And I feel like it's going to mess up the scale of this tank. So Cuba is definitely, I think, the way to go for nano tanks if you're doing a carpet for sure. But yeah, other than that, I don't want to keep you guys waiting. But other than that, if you have any questions on anything or just anything in general about Planet Aquariums, you could definitely hit me in the comments or follow my Instagram at JJ Aquariums. But other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one.